All right, coming back. All right, question number 3 on RPGT. Mr. John O, a citizen of Malaysia, purchased a piece of land near Gombak on 8 September 2009 for a consideration of 250,000. Incurred the following expenses in acquiring the asset: valuation fees, legal fees, and stamp duty. Mr. John O secured a loan for 200,000 from Maybank to finance the purchase. He incurred interest of 700 in 2009 and 2000 respectively for the next 5 years. So remember that the interest expense here is no longer part of incidental cost. So you can ignore that information. He constructed an office complex. Okay, so when he constructed an office complex, so all this expenditure will be part of your disposal price, yeah, because this would be the additional cost incurred. So for that, you have to incur architect fees, progress payment, and then final progress payment. So all this expenditure will be part of your disposal price. Cost incurred in enhancing the land, all right, where you now build another you build an office complex on the same piece of land. So there's an enhancement on the land now because of the building. The building, the construction of which commenced on 1st January 2010, was completed on 1st April 2013. It was about to be leased out for a rental of 25,000 per month when a fire broke out, partially damaging the building. Mr. John O received 110,000 from his insurance claim. What do you think of this amount, 110,000? What is this 100,000? Is it part of acquisition price or disposal price?
Disposal.
Are you sure? You receive a sum of 110 from insurance claim. Amount that you receive will be part of acquisition or disposal price.
Acquisition price.
Report under capital receipts lah. So dalam capital receipt acquisition price tu normally is the you punya insurance compensation, selalunya deposit forfeited. Alright, any income that you receive, any capital receipt, katalah orang ada bayar damages ke, alright, or any forfeited deposit, semua tu capital receipt, part of your acquisition price. And remember, it's a minus capital receipt. Yeah, so careful with the computation. Instead of repairing the damage, John O opted to improve the building by reconstruction. So they incur another 200,000. So what would be this reconstruction cost? AP or DP?
DP.
Yes, DP. So you kena tambah lagi lah DP tu berapa lagi ya. And then it was leased out. In August 2014, Mr. John O received an offer 1.5 million from Mega Sdn Bhd for the building. Agreement was signed. Company made a deposit of 30,000. The company failed to carry through with the agreement and forfeited its deposit. So again, forfeited deposit is part of your AP, acquisition price. The 30,000 here. On his 25th wedding anniversary, Mr. John O then decided to transfer the building as a gift to wife Madam K on October 2014. The market value on the date of transfer is 1.5 million. Madam K subsequently entered into an agreement to transfer the building to AKS Sdn Bhd, family controlled by her, for a sum of 2 million. She incurred the following expenses, which is valuation fees, legal fees, and stamp duty. The building is transferred to AKS on 12 October for a consideration consisting of 200,000 shares. Prior to that, Madam K owns 50,000 shares. So careful, yeah. Not all the share disposed later is RP shares. All right, you have to take into account. Madam K already has 50,000 shares in AKS Sdn Bhd before the transfer of the property. So not all shares are real property shares. Madam K disposed all of her shares in AKS to Mewah Sdn Bhd for 2.2 million on 1st May 2018. Alright, so acquired shares 12 October, so this one will be within 3 years. In February 2014, Mr. John O acquired another piece of land in a newly developed township in Johor. He had learned that the state government was intending to develop that area as an industrial area and to construct a new high-speed train linking Johor and Kuala Lumpur. Mr. John O paid 120,000 for the land, incurred 15,000 for filling the lowland line. 15,000 for filling the low-lying land area. So what is that 15,000? Is it part of AP or part of DP? You purchase a land, then you have to pay for filling the lowland lying area.
AP.
Ah,
AP.
AP, DP, sama je bunyi.
DP.
DP, ya betul DP, betul. Yeah, that's DP ya. Part of the cost incurred to enhance the value of the land lah. Maknanya kalau dulu the land is very low, now you have to incur cost in order to make it very flatten lah. Yeah. He had obtained a bank loan of 100,000 to acquire this land. So this loan is irrelevant actually. Yeah. Shortly after, the government announced that the entire project was being abandoned and that the area would continue to be classified as agricultural zone. So this is very common, yeah. Those who invest in properties, all right, you are always have to be keep abreast with the news, for example, and what are the government projects, right? For example, last time, I remember years, maybe in early 2000, 2010, that right, the government plan to have airport nearby Tanjung Malim, I think, or Tanjung Malim to be Bandar Proton, something like that, but a very big project, right? So that's why Bukit Beruntung area, in Bukit Beruntung, Tanjung Malim, that many people actually purchase properties in that area. But then after a few years, then the government said that okay, that project was abandoned. So now now you have to sell lah, yeah, because the price will not go up lah. So normally people bila nampak the intention government, they akan buy the properties, right? So that bila for example, the case of now our highway, our airport is in Sepang, right? Previously, right, nobody know what Sepang is, where Sepang is, but I don't know, right? So when when the government decided to build up an airport, a very big airport there, so everybody buy a land in Sepang before actually government make the airport. So why? Because that when you already have a property in that area, right? So the government have to purchase from you, then the price will spike lah. So you get that capital gain in between, right? So that's how actually people buying and selling land. Yeah. Okay. So but in this case, it was abandoned, so you have to dispose of lah. Yeah. And again, we talking about the properties, the land, alright. Dia ada banyak. Kalau agricultural zone ni memang it's very difficult for you to dispose of the property because you can only use the land for agriculture purpose. Yeah, unless the government convert that into commercial or industrial zone, then only you can sell at a better price. Okay, Mr. John O took appropriate steps to dispose of the land on 3rd August 2018. So remember that this land is in Johor. You purchased that in 2014, disposed of in 2018. He managed to sell the property for a sum of 220,000, incurred the following expenses. So these are your disposal price, that the cost incurred in disposing the property. And then 2018, September, Mr. John O disposed a condominium in Brunei, 180,000. The construction paid for the house was 120,000, acquired it on 5th February 2015. John O informed you that he has an unabsorbed loss relief of 1,500 and unabsorbed loss allowance of 2,000. So they're the both. They're the relief, loss relief, and also other loss, unabsorbed loss allowance. Yeah, allowance. And kita panggil apa? Allowance loss. Loss allowance. Allowable loss. Yeah. Okay lah, boleh lah tu. Alright. So determine the auction price, disposal price, RPGT payable for Mr. John O, Madam K, AKS, and Mewah Sdn Bhd for the following: property in Gombak, shares in AKS, land in Johor, and condominium in Brunei. Okay. So the question is very long. It's a 2 pages question. Right, so you have to understand that how many properties that you have. Right, number 1 is property in Gombak. Okay. Number 2 is property in Johor. So this one is, and then you also have property in Brunei. So this is John O, right? The husband. And the wife also has acquired the land in, this one give to the wife, so ada Gombak, but in this case, they dispose the property to another company, right? AKS Sdn Bhd. So that company is controlled by her. So ada individual transfer kat situ. So ada no gain, no loss. And that then dia ada shares kat situ juga. So and then they dispose of the shares and then the property in Gombak lah, alright. So wife ada Gombak dengan shares and then you have company. The company AKS Sdn Bhd jual pada Meng Wah ke? Ke macam tu? How does it work? Macam tu. Building. Okay, the building transferred to AKS and then AKS jual pada Meng Wah. Nampak? Oh tak. Meng Wah ni dia jual shares. Right? Madam K jual shares. All the shares from in AKS to Meng Wah Sdn Bhd for 2.2 million. So you really have to compute, for example, in this case, you have to really understand that there are two parties here. Oh, sudah. There are two parties here, which is the, sekejap saya tutup ni. Hilang lah pula. Tak ada. Okay. There are two parties. One is Mr. John O. The other one is Madam K. Right. And then Meng Wah tak ada apa kot. Ya, Meng Wah tak ada apa. And then you also have properties in Johor. You have properties in Gombak. You have properties in Brunei. Right. So do one thing at a time lah. So katalah now you nak settle Mr. John O dulu. So you buat John O dulu lah. Then only you buat Madam K. Right. So let's go into Mr. John O. Mr. John O, all right. Why you need to know? Because what is the acquisition price of Mr. John O? Yeah, acquisition price of Mr. John O. In this case, remember that John O give the property in Gombak to wife. Yeah, but I was trying to look into the first part whereby you have acquired the property on 8 September 2009. Yeah, you acquired the property . 8 September 2019 and you give to your wife on 10 of October 2014. So this is already in the, when I do the computation, right? Because 8 September 2009 means that one full year is 7 September 2010. So that is one full year. 2011, 12, 13, 14, 7 September 2014 is already in the 5th year. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you dispose in the on 10 October 2014, which is after this date, that means that that is already in the 6th year, right? So in the 6th year, when you dispose 1 year, 2014. So you have to look at the chart. Kalau you dispose in 2014 rather than 2019, right? So let's go to the chart for your income tax rate. All right. So here income tax rate effective from 2014 would be as follow. Kenapa tak? Dia punya chart kat sini from 1st January 2014 to 31st December 2018. So you punya disposal fall into this chart. I mean that in the 6th year the tax rate is 0%. Right? 0%. Betul lah. Yeah. But you give to the wife, so no gain no loss, so tak masalah lah. Ya. Kenapa saya tengok benda ni? Sebab saya nak tahu dia punya treatment ni. Okay, tak apa. Kalau sekarang 2018 and now is this one lah. More than 5 years now is 5%. You see the difference? Previously, kalau you have a property, you dispose of in the 6th year, the rate is 0%. Nampak? In the 6th year, rate is 0%. In when they come with the law in now, right? Even if you dispose after 5 years as an individual, you still have to pay 5% tax rate. Right? There's an increase of 5%, yeah, on the tax rate for RPGT individual disposing after 5 years. So sekarang ni nak buat macam mana ni? Okay, let's go for John O dulu. John O, acquisition price. John O, okay, John O pada Y. So this one is a no gain, no loss, isn't it? Yes, but kenapa you nak tahu acquisition price of John O? Because acquisition price of John O akan jadi AP of the Y. Yeah, because this one is inter vivo, AP plus PE of John O akan jadi AP of the Y. So that's why we want to see what is AP of John O. So coming back to the question, acquisition price, you buy 250,000, for example, right? You have 250,000, and then you add your valuation fees, legal fees, and stamp duty. Then what else? So this one, all this will be part of a disposal price. You want to look for the capital receipt. Is there any capital receipt? Yes. You have this 30,000, yeah? Capital receipt 30,000. But you also have this, you know. Remember this capital sum from the insurance? So capital receipt ada dua, 110,000 dengan 30,000. So kalau you buat, you akan ada AP 250,000, and then you ada incidental cost. How much is the incidental cost? All this thing lah, 1,000 campur 2,500 campur 1,000. So in your answer, I want you to list down each expenses, yeah. You have to list down each expenses. Then you minus your capital receipt. So in this case, your capital receipt tadi ada berapa? I buat macam ni sebab I tak cukup tempat, ya. 110,000 plus tadi ada apa? 30,000. So can you try to compute how much is the acquisition price for Mr. John O on this property? Berapa acquisition price? Siapa dapat? I dah tunjuk dah very clearly, right? Siapa dapat AP of the John O? One 115,200. Is it 115,200? Yes. 115.
It's 4 o'clock.
200. Okay. So this one the AP, you know. Now I want you to compute what is the PE of John O. What is the permitted expenses? Permitted expenses is the cost incurred in enhancing the value of the property, which is renovation, progress payment, all that, plus incidental cost. Incidental cost in disposing the property. Ada ke? In this case tak ada lah. Right? So, oh no, sorry. Permitted expenses, cost incurred in enhancing the property plus any cost incurred to preserve the title of the property. Right? Can you compute that for me? What is the enhancement cost or the permitted expenses? I just want one figure. acquisition price plus PE. Your AP is 115, 200 plus you can chat me. Thank you, Shaheen. All right, you can give me your PE. I'm waiting for your PE. And we have about 2 minutes left.
Is it the architect fee and then the progress?
Yes. Plus the reconstruction.
$920.
Cuba lagi. Oh, 920. Betul. 920. So total jadi berapa? 1,1,035,200, right? Betul. Okay, the acquisition price of John O plus PE of John O is 1,035,200, and this one would be AP of whom? AP of Madam K. Yeah, 1,035,200, which is the AP plus PE, would be AP of Madam K. All right, we stop here. We start a new session very soon. Okay, we